trying to determine when we're going to see storms developing, because there are a lot of questions. Depending on how strong the cap is, if our balloon goes up and still shows a pretty intensely strong cap, as we had this morning and as the Fort Worth weather balloon had this morning, then that will give us higher confidence that we'll see later storm initiation maybe, and that we may not have to deal with storms in the lunch hour and beyond out in southwest Oklahoma and moving up towards central Oklahoma. If that cap is weakening, and we're seeing some indications looking at satellite data that there's already some lift occurring over Oklahoma, which could be eroding that cap or weakening that cap from up above. And if that's happening, and we do see these storms developing earlier than this map indicates, then we're going to have to redo the whole thing. So please, more than any other day, keep up with the forecast and monitor for updates. It is going to change a lot, and it's going to change often. So we talk about being alert for rapidly changing weather conditions. Today you need to be alert for rapidly changing weather forecast, because we're looking at every piece of data we can and trying to fine tune it. I hate it when we can't nail it down for you, but that's the way it is today, unfortunately. So that's our best timing graphic. When it's updated, we will let you know for sure. But be advised and be aware that we could change this, and we could up these times fairly significantly for severe weather. Now, the question is, if we get all these storms developing in southwest Oklahoma at 11 or 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, what's that going to do to the supercell potential? What's that going to do to the tornado potential? And that's a great question. Depends on how many we have. If we get a bunch developing, then that's going to probably cut down somewhat on the high-end tornado potential. Despite the fact there's a high risk now, there's some stuff that's just not there to make this feel like a May 31st or a May 19th or a May 20th. It just doesn't have that feeling or that confidence, certainly. So I'm not saying somebody won't see a bad tornado today, but there's a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty. Let's see what's next. So this graphic is also subject to significant modifications here in the next couple of hours. Again, that highest tornado potential is focused in the SPC high risk area. I think they'll have a slightly different weather environment going on up in southwest and into central Kansas, and we may have thunderstorms developing there, and that may be where we have the more substantial potential for long track, strong and violent tornadoes. But again, that's up in the air. So again, watch for this map to change. Given the wind shear that's in place and the unstable, very humid air, the very low cloud bases, if you're in front of any thunderstorm today, there's at least some tornado potential with it, and any isolated supercells that can sustain themselves, especially storms that remain isolated into the late afternoon and early evening hours. When the wind shear really starts to pick up, we'll have increased tornado potential. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, that's the story for today.